I was asked by one of my Instagram followers, I'm Angela Fehr on Instagram, to paint an iris, and it's a perfect time of year to be painting irises because they're blooming out in my garden right now. So I have a fresh iris right here, and I thought also with my loose and fluid course as a kickoff, again, it's another beautiful flower that we can paint. So I don't have a reference photo, I'm just going to use a fresh iris, so that's always fun to paint. And it's really a beautiful flower, wilting a little bit already. They don't last very long out of water or once they've been picked. But, you know, there's some beautiful things going on in the shape of this flower. We've got this upward curve of flowers, the downward petals, and the downward petals, some little middle-sized petals, almost makes a triangular shape. Can you see that? So I want to keep that in mind as I try to paint this loosely. And then we've got some beautiful light colors. We've got the darker purpley blue, but then we have white and yellow as the petals move toward the center. So we want to make sure we leave space for those whites. And I can see the underside of the petals is equally beautiful. So I'm going to start actually by using some blue. And the reason I'm doing that is I don't want to go too dark too soon. I can put a little bit of blue down, and then I can choose some violet. This is Winsor violet or dioxazine violet. And I can create a little more variation of color. You can actually see there's a little bit of rose, like a red violet in my flower as well. So I could add a little bit of alizarin crimson, and that gives me a little color there that makes my purple a little bit redder. So you can just start dotting in some pigment to see what you can create here. And some variation of color. It's really quite beautiful. And flowers, I love to paint them because they are so forgiving. You've got organic shapes so the petals don't stay put, so the shapes vary. You have one coming off to the side here, then you've got these little arms almost coming out like so, and some interesting variations of color. I have a tiny little bug walking on my paper as well, creating his own little marks. And already I have the top part of my flower created. Now, it's tempting to want to start painting the yellow because if we're moving from top to bottom, that's where you would go next. But I'm going to wait on that for a second because I don't want the yellow to flow right into the purple and create mud. And yellow and purple, they are complementary colors, so they do get muddy. So I'm just going to dot a little bit of opera rose into my iris. And that looks like too much. But remember that the colors don't stop moving as they dry. There's a little bit, you know, the mingling of the colors, the transitions, they keep happening as things are drying. So I can just give that a little bit of time for those colors to settle and start to combine. And then I can very gently coax them as well to do their pretty little thing. Just by very gently. You can see how careful I am not to scrub and rub with the color. I want to keep things soft. And I'm not mixing on my palette because I get the freshest and most interesting combinations when I mix right on my paper with lots of water. So I'm going to start a petal over on this side now. And again, I want to remember to keep things light. Dabbing off my brush so I can use, there's lots of water here, so I don't want to add new water. I just want to start pulling some of that water and spreading out some of that color. And you can see how it gets lighter as I move away from where I initially put color down. And that starts to give me my petal shape. This is going really well, guys. And maybe I sound surprised, but it's, you know, the iris is an unusual. It's a little bit different than the traditional flower shapes, which are often based on circles. There's a little bit more complexity here. So, you know, it might take a couple tries to get a pretty soft iris that you're happy with. And I haven't painted irises since last year anyhow, when they were blooming last year and I was inspired by them. And that last time I painted them, I was even really quite a bit looser. And that painting's in a gallery right now, so I can't show you. But there, you know, this is actually a little bit more detailed, but I want you to see that even a detailed painting can be loose and fluid. In here you see those dark veins pulling up into the yellow, so I could do a little bit of that. Whoops, that's not dark enough, and I think I need a finer point on my brush, so I'll grab this rigger here to the side. And don't feel like you have to paint every vein. I just want that feeling of those little veins coming up from the edge. A little more dark purple in here to really make things pop. And again, not too much strong attention to detail, just a little bit of softness. I'm going to grab some of that opera rose again. Even just a tiny grain of color in a few spots will create some unity and let things flow. And now I'm going to create another petal. The petal on this side, you can see more of the narrow part before it widens out. So let's try to do a little bit of that. And quite a lot of violet on my brush right now. But as I move out from the inner part, it's going to get lighter as I start to run low on color. And then I can use water to flow it as well. And it seems a little bit wrongish. I think I need more. One thing I missed a little bit more of this petal here. And so here we're gonna just add a little bit more petal here. And refine and tighten up. And one of the advantages to working with a lot of water is you can kind of tighten up your painting as it starts to dry. You can put in some darker colors. That blue is beautiful. That's Verditer blue. Daniel Smith, it is my go-to blue. But you could also use cobalt blue, cerulean. Cerulean's a little bit lighter. Oh, that's quite a lot. And cobalt's a little bit darker and duller, so just depending on the effect you want, or any combination of the two. And the veins tell us the shape of the petals, so you want to try to at least get the approximate direction of them kind of right, even though you don't have to feel like you have to be placing the shapes with surgical precision. And we want a little bit more of that rose just to continue our theme. Very little bit. For continuity's sake. There we go. There's so many lovely, delicate things that are happening. And now it's time for yellow. And choosing a yellow can be a little bit tricky sometimes. You want one that's got a lovely golden hue, but it's a little bit, it's not super lemony. So I think my cadmium yellow is going to work really well. Let's just take a look here on the side of my paper. Yeah, I think that's going to be the one I want. Try it out and then rinse it away. And for this painting, I'm not creating a background. I just want to have my emphasis on the lovely shape of the flower. And again, I waited on the yellow because I wanted the purple to have a chance to settle. I don't mind if the colors blend a little bit. And you can see the cadmium yellow. I'm using cadmium yellow made by Core, which is Core Modern Watercolors made by Golden, actually. And you can see this it really disperses. As soon as it touches the wet pigment, it wants to flow. So you want to be aware of that. And that's why I waited a little bit, to give things a chance to dry, to give some of the pigment a chance to settle. I don't mind some things bleeding together, a little bit of the yellow bleeding into the purple, but you don't want it taking over. especially a yellow that has a lot of, it's a fairly high flow color. Really tends to move as soon as it touches moisture. Look at that. In there it's wanting to take over down into the purple, but it's kind of pretty too. So I'm going to leave it. Now I think one thing that's not working right here is over on this side, this petal is just not wide enough and it's kind of messing with the shape of our flower. So again, I can just tighten up and refine that by making some adjustments. And I think even just going like that will give me a little bit more of an accurate shape. Oh, so pretty. Touch in a little bit of verditer blue again. My brush was quite dry, so it didn't want to move. A little bit more moisture will give me a little bit more flow. Now I'm going to throw a stem on my flower using a little sap green, and I'm going to put a little cadmium on that to lighten it up, and that'll actually combine the green, unify the green color with the yellow that's already on my painting, so then you get a kind of a unified color palette. Love that. Actually, I love that little flick on the end of that leaf, so I'm not even going to add more to it. There's a little bit of red actually that you can see in the leaf on this flower, so I'm going to touch in a little bit of that reddish brown to kind of copy what I'm seeing. It's kind of important. And that's it. That's really all there is to painting a beautiful iris. A little bit more of a hint of color here and there. I could add some more flowers, I could add some spatter, I could just create, wait for this to dry and add some veiny detail, but I really don't feel like it's needed. I just think there's so much pretty texture happening in my flower that I'm going to call it done. I'll give it a chance to dry and just be happy with having this lovely natural iris painted from life. And oh, seeing one thing I want to change. Tighten up. And that's this guy right here. And sometimes when you're painting loosely like this, a little detail, one little brush stroke can make such a big difference. So be willing to take it slow, observe, and stop before you overdo it, which is what I'm going to do right now. Thanks for watching this little iris tutorial. If you enjoyed seeing me paint this loose and fluid iris, I encourage you to check out my online classes, especially my brand new course, Lovely Loose Flowers in Watercolor. It's all about painting flowers, keeping things loose and fluid, trying to relax and almost start to abstract florals. And you know, you have that beautiful balance between painting every detail and being completely abstract and suggestive. So take a look. Learn.angelafehr.com. Give this demo a try. Try painting flowers from life or objects from life whenever you can, because it sharpens your observation skills and helps you be a little more expressive as an artist as well. I'm Angela Fehr. Thanks for watching.